It all started with a sudden tragedy. A stray dog charged out of nowhere and viciously attacked a police officer. It was a critical moment, but luckily, the backup team arrived just in time and shot the dog. Ray had been restless for days. His son had gone missing, and no matter how hard he searched, he couldn't find him. The overwhelming stress made it impossible for him to sleep, even though his wife tried to comfort him. He would go to the secluded hill behind their house and end it all. He suddenly heard desperate screams for help. His eyes darted toward the nearby lake. A woman was struggling in the water, barely keeping herself afloat. Without thinking, Ray and his dove into the lake to save her. The woman wasn't alive. Before Ray could react, the corpse grabbed his arm and pulled him down. In sheer terror, he fought back, pushing her away with all his strength. The corpse lunged again, trying to drag him under. Mark smashed a rock over its head, forcing it to let go. They scrambled out of the water and ran for their lives. Ray sprinted back home, his mind racing. Something was terribly wrong. But there was no time to pack. Ray grabbed a vase to defend himself, but before he could use it, a zombie crashed through the back door. It moved unnaturally fast, swiping at him with decaying hands. Ray swung the vase, but the creature was too quick. It knocked the vase away and lunged. In the heat of the moment, Ray grabbed a shard of glass from the broken vase and stabbed the zombie in the neck. It staggered but didn't go down. Desperate, he grabbed an electric cable and wrapped it around the monster's throat, electrocuting it until it stopped moving. Grabbing his wife's hand again, he pulled her toward the car. "We need to get out of here. The whole city is infected," he shouted. "Infected? By what?" his wife, Emily, asked, confused. "I don't know. Maybe it's in the water, maybe it's in the air." They jumped into the car and sped off. But as Ray checked the fuel gauge, his stomach dropped. They were almost out of gas. "There's a station not too far from here. We'll stop there," he said. When they arrived, he told Emily to stay inside while he checked the place. The gas station was eerily silent. There was no cashier, no other customers, just abandoned cars and spilled fuel. Ray hurried to grab a few containers of gas, but before he could leave, something moved behind him. He turned just in time to see a shadow lunging at him. Reacting quickly, he grabbed a gas pump and sprayed the attacker with fuel. Then, with a flick of his lighter, he set the creature ablaze. It let out an unearthly scream as flames consumed it. Ray wasted no time. He rushed back to the car and sped away. The plan was to head straight out of the city, but as they passed the police station, Ray hesitated. He had worked there for years, and he couldn't leave without checking if anyone was still alive. Calling out, "Anyone here?" A faint noise came from the kitchen. Ray followed the sound and was met with a nightmare. His old partner's wife, Sarah, stood in the kitchen, but she wasn't human anymore. She let out an inhuman shriek and lunged at him. Ray fired his gun, taking her down. But the gunshot echoed through the halls, attracting more undead. But before he could finish it off, Emily ran toward him, screaming, "No, Ray! Stop!" Confused, he hesitated for a second. A zombified police officer tackled him from behind, knocking his gun away. At the last second, Ray grabbed a nearby military camera and smashed it into the officer's skull. He gasped for air, pulling himself up. But Emily was gone. He saw footprints leading up a hill and followed them. His heart pounded as he found Emily being chased by a zombie. "Run!" he shouted. But before she could reach him, the ground beneath her collapsed, sending her tumbling down a steep ravine. The next morning, Ray woke up in a daze. He barely remembered what happened the night before. Stumbling back to the car, he was shocked to see Emily sitting in the passenger seat. Relief flooded him, until he saw her eyes. They were different. Dark, lifeless. She had been infected. Tears filled his eyes as he used a seatbelt to restrain her, starting the car. He contacted his old colleague, David, a police officer. "I need medical help. Emily's been infected." David responded, "Meet me at my house. I'll get the doctors." Ray drove at top speed, but as he approached David's house, something felt off. Stepping out of the car, Ray called out, "David? You here?" A sudden gunshot rang out.